Hello, everybody, and welcome to another My Music. It's the time of the week. I haven't actually done one of these this week. I've just been so busy. Well, actually, it's a lie. I was going to do one yesterday, and then the person forgot. But it's all right. We're rearranging. It's all good. I'm going to be speaking to Freddie Joon any minute now. But before that, here's the video you've been waiting for. Really, you have from Analog Trash. There you go. And in the middle of all of that, I actually answered a text as well from my motor mechanic who's picked up the car this morning, who said, remind me, which tyre is it? And the answer was, does anybody know? It was the driver's side at the front. There we are on the right-hand side, obviously, because it's a British car. It needs sorting out. The air just seems to keep disappearing from it. Who knows where it goes? It's a bit like socks in a washing machine. Who knows where they go as well? Freddie, thanks for joining me. Listen, I saw a video of yours this week. Brilliant. Selling merch. I love that.
Which one, actually? I have two very we'll call them unique videos about merch.
Well, it's the one that I saw was one where you stopped some unsuspecting students who looked absolutely horrified. Although they did a good job of looking like they were not horrified. And you said, "Oh, would you like to be? I've got this new merch. It's rather wonderful, etc. Maybe I can." I've written a song about it. Maybe I can sing the song for you, and then you might want to purchase the merch. At which point you then launched in to. I love this. Launched into your song, which included a lot of this, didn't it?
It did indeed.
Yeah, marvelous. What gave you that idea? It's brilliant.
Do you know what? I've been doing it for like nearly a year now. So I was trying to remember the other day how it escalated, but I've not really put it out on Instagram. On TikTok, I don't know how it came about, but like last summer, I started, so I'm originally from Bolton in Manchester, and I started just doing silly, I think it started with the Barbie movie, so it must have been like July, and I just got an idea of just like doing, so I was singing all of the songs in like a silly northern accent, and I thought, like I'm gonna record that and I'm gonna put it out on TikTok. Hadn't been brave enough to put my silly stuff out on Instagram at this point. It was all very serious. And then it kind of took off and people really enjoyed it. And then it sort of escalated last summer to me going up and just singing to strangers generally and being like, "Oh, I think I'm an amazing singer. I want to blow up on TikTok. Like, can you pick a song and I'll sing it to you?" And then I would come out in this big old northern voice and just watch their reactions. And it kind of I kind of built my audience on TikTok from doing that, which is great because I've also like discovered my music and I've got like a lovely little community on there. I've never really been brave enough to do it on Instagram until this week, actually. I think I did a bit of a northern skit at some point last year, but not the singing to strangers stuff. So I was doing some content for TikTok, which she saw, which was on Carnaby Street in London, and I thought, do you know what? I'm gonna put it on Instagram as well and see how it does.
Does it ever backfire on you? I mean, I showed it to my 10-year-old daughter, who went like that, which is what you'd expect to happen. And then I said, "Oh, she can really sing as well." And then I then scrolled through and showed like, some video footage of you singing. She was like, "Oh," which was great. I mean, it's great to get that kind of reaction. But Does it always work then that then people find you with the serious stuff and make the connection and go, oh, actually she can sing, she's really good. There's kind of this comedic element to your personality, which is kind of taking the pee out of yourself and
Thanks
whatever
so
else.
much.
Oh yeah, nice. Mine's a tea too.
I'll get him on it.
I love that, your own personal slave in
What
the
can
house.
I say? Yeah,
That's
yeah.
marvelous. Yeah.
To be fair, I'm normally the coffee maker in the morning, actually. But
Yeah,
this is
everybody
next
needs
step.
one. Everybody needs one of those. But you know what I
Everyone
mean?
does.
Have you found like everybody gets it and moves over?
I think it's like with anything, really, especially when you get quite a lot of exposure. I think the biggest exposure has actually been on Facebook. There's one that kind of took off, and it's got like nearly 1 million views or something like that. And I would say it's a real mix. I think there's a few people, as you would imagine, that just follow me because they like my personality and they find me really silly. There's a few people that have then gone to be like, oh, she's actually she has music. Oh, this is really cool. And then there's other people that don't enjoy it at all and tell me that I'm not funny constantly. So it's a real mixed bag. I would say there's only 10% of the miserable people in the world. But yeah,
they're not your audience, though, are they? They're not your audience.
No, absolutely. You've got to. Everyone's got their own crowd, and I guess it's just like in real life. Not everyone is gonna, like you and get like. Not everyone. You can't be friends with everyone, can you?
Oh no, it's one of the things that I run a social media marketing business. It's one of the things that I have with clients all at the time is that they approach social media with so many concepts in their head or theories in their head about how they will be perceived, and that then makes them worry. And you've kind of got to get them over that point. You need to say, yeah, but if that's you, right?
Yeah,
you've just got to be you. Right, because
I think everyone that does content though has had this battle though, because I definitely did. I very much had this. I grew up with Britney Spears as one of my icons, and in that era where like all sort of pop artists or people that did pop were really polished and preened and like very like cool girl, if you know what I mean. And I think for a long time I started putting out music probably like 6 years ago now. And I think I really battled with that because I've never, that's never been my personality. It doesn't suit me at all. So I never really put myself out and exactly showed my true self online, honestly, until I started doing the silly Northern stuff. And then it's just kind of given me confidence in all areas, not just content really, but like in my writing and like in my day-to-day life as well. So yeah, I've definitely had that battle. I've only been like truly myself online in the past year, which is kind of crazy. Yeah. Really.
Don't you find as well that, I mean, this is the thing. I've had some people say to me when they've looked at my YouTube channel, for example, I've had like people come back to me and give me feedback like, I don't like your YouTube channel because it's like, you should be all music because I do music. But it's like, what you got all that other stuff on there for? And then you've got other people that go like, well, I thought I found your videos on company culture and leadership really quite insightful. But what on earth are you interviewing musicians for? And for me, it's like, if you don't get that I'm a multifaceted person who can be interested in lots of different things, and at one point can talk at a high intellectual level with you about whatever, you bring it on, mate. I'll talk to you. I'll give you stuff.
What for?
From my brain, I'll give you cerebral imbalance. But if at 1 minute I want to speak about company culture or ergonomics or accountancy or whatever else, or the future of AI, I will. But then if I want to interview musicians about music, I will as well.
Yeah.
Right? Why shouldn't people be able to be that kind of person? And the other point about that as well is I think people are missing a trick, because when you're so two-dimensional, don't you think that it means that in a way you're boring? You're absolutely boring.
Yeah, I do. Well, if you think about like people's personality, we're not just black and white, aren't we? We're this whole sphere. And I think it's important to, especially if you want to connect with people, like again, when you treat it in real life, you wouldn't go and socialize and just think, oh, I need to present myself in this way. You show up as you are, don't you? Well, you hope
Yeah.
to.
Do you find outside of this box, in real life, when you gravitate towards friends and whatever, do you find that you actually gravitate more towards people who actually are as interested in all of the other things that you're interested in as just the music? What I mean by that is, I got a feeling that a lot of musicians, if people come up to them and all they are interested in is finding out about them and their music, it's a bit dull for them, right? It's like, I really like your music and I really like that song that you put out and whatever. And it's like they've just interrupted you having a conversation about, I don't know, gardening. And rather than joining the conversation about gardening, they're thinking, oh, it's a really good idea at this point in time to talk to you about your music. Now, whilst it is nice that they're a fan or whatever, you probably are thinking, we may not actually ever be friends. Whereas actually, if they came up to you and went, oh, do you know what? Last week I bought a new lawnmower, and did you find the dilemma? Should I go petrol? Should I go electric? Which is, you'd probably be like, oh gosh, this is refreshing. Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I like your music too. That's brilliant. But you know what I'm saying there?
Yeah, I do get what you. I think it's situational. I think I don't know. Personally, for me, I don't think I'd ever be like, oh, I don't want to talk about. I'd be really touched if anyone came up and said, oh, I really love your music.
Oh yeah, I get that. But would you be would they bond with you?
Yeah, I get, like, for example, I think a really good example of someone found my music on Spotify and reached out and followed me and said, oh, I really like it. But then we've kind of developed a lovely friendship because we got this connection of we're both really into running. So yeah, I think it's nice when things cross over. And I think going back to the content and being completely yourself, I think people get you more and want to get to know you more as a person rather than just the music. Like, for example, when I was a kid and I was like super obsessed with Britney Spears, if there was an opportunity where she were doing if stories were a thing and TikTok lives were a thing and Instagram lives were a thing, I would have been there on the clock every single time. Like, the opportunity to get to know her would have just been marvelous. And I think
I have to say, sorry to interrupt, but I do have to say that all the way through this interview now, for the last 5 minutes or whatever, since you mentioned Britney Spears, I can't get it out of my head. But ultimately, because when you say about the northern singing voice and all of that, it kind of took me back to years of old when Vic and Bob at their big the big night out. You Bob Mortimer, Vic Reeves.
I don't know. I don't think I watched that.
You're probably too young to remember them. And then they went on and did Shooting Stars and whatever, with Matt Lucas, who you probably do know from Little Britain, whatever. And one of the things that they used to do is the pub singer, right? And which was singing songs in the style of a pub singer, right? And now that you said it, I'm just thinking you would probably do a really good Britney Spears in the style of a northern pub singer.
Well, I mean, I don't know what's the pub singer, like the northern silly.
So it would be like, oh baby, baby, up Britney dip do to do.
I've done it.
You've done it.
So on one of my singing it would go, I'll give you a rendition, because I actually the one that did pretty well on TikTok was this lovely unsuspecting guy that I stopped in a park and I said, oh, pick a song, and I think it was Britney. Yeah, it was. Oh no, that was a different one. This unsuspecting couple, I stopped and they requested Baby One More Time, and I was like, this is my time. And it was like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, go on.
I'm going to stand up. I'll get the support behind me. Ironically, I also teach vocal technique, which I think is very funny.
just channel your inner Freddie Mercury. He's there watching, so
He is. Oh, don't, that scares me. I don't think he'd be very proud of this moment that I'm about to show you.
Oh, I think he would. I think he'd love it.
Me loneliness is killing me, and I must confess, I still believe when I'm not with you, I lose my mind. Give me a sign, hit me, baby, one more time. So that's kind of how it went in the park.
Yeah, I love that. I could watch that all day. That's just that's tremendous. And the beautiful thing is, it's in complete antithesis, really, from the music that you make, which is, has a beautiful subtlety to it, and has got lots of lovely, electronic-y layers and all that sort of thing, and a beautiful singing voice. So yeah, do you feel like it's kind of, you kind of need that to do the other? Do you need the one to do the other?
What you mean is in terms of content and getting yourself out there?
Well, not just in terms of content, but actually from yourself. Is it almost like I am a serious singer-songwriter. I'm looking for beauty. I'm looking for great composition. I'm looking for all of these things, and actually sometimes just taking my headspace to a place of like absolute just freedom and letting go and whatever actually then helps in the creative process, because it's kind of like releases the crap, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, really. I think it's just always, it's definitely, I think if I was to give myself traits, I think that just being silly, I don't know if silliness helps with, the serious songwriting. I think it's just part of my personality. I think the only thing is that showing my full self and being fully silly, I guess, is definitely helped with like the confidence to promote my own music, for sure. Like, it's really made me, everyone, a lot of the comments that I get, as you can imagine, are like, oh, I wish I was as confident as you. I don't understand how you get the confidence to do this, but it's actually weird because it's made me confident, if that makes sense. And I know, I guess I had to have that initial push, but I definitely wouldn't have said when I started doing it I was that confident. I mean, I wasn't confident enough to be fully myself online, which, is quite a big thing to not be, really. And the confidence, I think, has definitely made me more confident in writing what I want to write about and not caring about. I think a lot of artists and songwriters have this thing where they'll be writing a song and they'll be really into it and it'll really speak to them, but then they might be like, oh, but there'll be this artistic block where they'll go, oh yeah, but is anyone else going to understand that? Maybe I should actually change this lyric so that it makes sense to everyone. And then you keep doing that and you keep doing that, and then it becomes a song that's not really about you or a feeling. It sort of becomes the shimmer of a feeling that you might think maybe will connect to other people, which really is not. I can only speak myself, but that's not what I want as a listener. I want to you want to absorb into an artist's world when you get into them, really, don't you?
Yeah. One day I'm going to get the drummer from my first ever band back on this show when he can be bothered. He's just so busy that it's nearly impossible for him. But he's now a world famous musician. He travels the world. He writes for everybody, etc. But I remember him as a 10-year-old, and one of the things that I felt was so precious in that early band was when we were writing stuff in the middle of a long session of writing and creating and whatever, when when we get quite emotionally drained by the process, we'd have a silly 5 moments. And that silly 5 moments just completely that's what I meant, really. That kind of completely rejuvenated everything, because I just think sometimes just letting go and going, oh, do you know what? Let's all play each other's instruments, or let's let's do a Bruce Springsteen song sounding like the Chipmunks for 5 minutes, so that it just, so everybody has a laugh, we all kind of just loosen up and whatever, and then come back into it again. I think sometimes you just need that as a musician.
Yeah, I get what you mean. You definitely do. You've just got to be, but it got to be free and not get so overly. I mean, it's great to be overly focused sometimes, as long as there's not that like pressure there,
Yeah. Don't do it in studio time that you're paying for, though, folks, because it gets really expensive. That's my only bit of advice. Just don't do that. Do it in the practice room, by all means. Although some of those are expensive as well.
I was going to say, even still, you're racking up.
Or just create your own practice room, which is good. Do you ever go busking? Do you ever do that sort of thing?
Do you know what? Yeah, I actually started out. It's not really something I do. I think I've been doing it for so long. I started busking when I was like 16. I'm 33 now, so I've been doing it for so long. And I don't, I'm not saying I won't go back to it, but I definitely have fallen out of love with it. I'd say in the past like 2-3 years. I used to really love it when I was younger, and I just love the freedom of it and everything about it, really. And I have a lot to be thankful for with busking. Like, I've been discovered a lot from busking, and I've gained a lot of my fan base from busking. So, I'm a real supporter of it. But whether it's for me right now at this moment in time, I'm not sure, because every time I think about doing it, I just think about a million other things I'd rather go and do. But I think it's great. But I think at this moment in time, it's not something that I'm drawn to. And I feel like busking it's such a hard, courageous thing to do, that you really have to be super passionate about it to, even get out there, like the getting out there with all your heavy stuff and the setting up. I think that's very, very brave. Even without the starting to perform.
I'm going to say a little bit like your social media stuff. I think, which I think is brilliant, actually, because I think it's creative and it's fun, and it shows a different side of your personality, and I think that's really fundamentally important. And I think you should also think about the running thing as well, because it was brilliant for Ellie Goulding in the early days. Do you remember that? Ellie Goulding used to...
I didn't know she was a runner, actually. That's cool.
Yeah, a massive runner. And actually, one of the first things she did on social media over and over again was she used to film herself doing runs, and then try and get the her audience involved in it as well. What runs have you done today? All of that sort of thing. I think actually kind of bringing people into another part of your life, which has got nothing to do with your music, can build a whole new audience.
I think it's what people want as well. I think people don't always want it, and I certainly don't. As a listener and as a fan of so many people, I just don't want to be thrusted upon constantly with new music. Like, I think when I fall in love with an artist, it's normally I go in real hard. Like, I want to know everything about them, and I almost want to get to know the person behind it, so I can understand the music even better, if that makes sense. And so I think all those things that you're talking about, including all parts of your life, it's really important, I think.
Well, it's why we do what we do on here, because people have an idea about what a music interview should be about as well. So they assume, like, you come on, you play your latest single, I ask you what your favorite biscuit is, we ask you about the tour that's coming up, and then you go away. And that's the end of it. And it's like, yeah, but there's so much out there that's like that. So why bother doing that? Let's actually find out a little bit more about the person themselves. And therefore, people go, oh, Freddie's an interesting person. Why don't I find out about their music? And that's, to me, that's great content, because that's what people want to know about. Having said that, we ought to speak a little bit about your music.
I guess it's not really,
yeah, just a tad. So tell people, what have you got out there at the moment?
So I guess the big focus and the exciting thing this year is I'm releasing my third EP on the 3rd of May, which I'm really excited about. So I've released
That's the magic number. Yes, it is. It's a magic number.
It is EP3 on the 3rd of May. 3-3.
What does it all mean?
Yeah, so I've released 2 songs from that so far, and the first one's called Vanish, and then the second one is called Your Stranger, which I released a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, I'm just really, I'm really excited for the EP to come out. It's Unicorn, which is the title track of the EP, and also the lead track of it. It's my favorite. I'm really excited for everyone to hear it. It's my favorite song I've written by an absolute mile. I just feel like it really, I don't know if encompasses is the right word, but it really it really, really resonates me with when I'm just like feeling my absolute best and just feeling really, really great and really loving life. And yeah, I love singing it so much. And I wrote it, I wrote it maybe like, I don't know, 4.5 years ago now, and I'm still not sick of it. I just love listening to it. And I'll tell you what, that's definitely not always the case with the mixing and the listening to it and the re-listening to it and the re-listening to it. Honestly, sometimes, if I'm completely honest, by the end, when the single's coming out, I'm like, I'm over this. I am over it. I never want to hear it again. Whereas with Unicorn, I'm not. I'm so excited for it to be out.
Why 4.5 years? Because that's a long time. Why did it take? What was the gestation? Why was the gestation period that long?
So I wrote it just on keys initially, and I was like, it obviously needs like a cool production. And I worked. I did a bit of production myself then, but I just had these sort of loose ideas, and nothing that I felt really, really served the song. And then in lockdown, so me and my boyfriend that just handed me a coffee, we mainly make, we're basically a band, but I front it, like we do everything together. Like he plays in my live shows, we make it all together, we write together, we produce together. Yeah, he heard it. I think I didn't even play it to him until a couple of years we've been together. And I said, oh, I've written this song, and like I've never just found the right production for it, but just I know it's so good and I love it so much. And he listened to it, and then he was like, do you mind if I listen to it again? I really like it. And I was like, oh yeah, sure, listen to it again. And then he just sort of tucked himself away. We lived together. We moved in together for the first time in lockdown. He just sort of tucked himself away in our studio and just said, oh, yeah, I think I've come up with a really good idea for Unicorn. If that's, can I play it to you? And yeah, he just it was there. I was like, yeah. It was, he just really nailed it. And
That's a lovely story, isn't it? Isn't that a lovely story? Yeah. He didn't announce that on Valentine's Day or something, did he, as well? Or he should have done. He should have kept it and gone, yeah, I've got a Valentine's Day gift for you.
Boom. Yeah.
Look at this.
We really, I think it's so well, obviously I think we'll be together. It'll be our 5 years on Saturday, actually. And I think one thing that I hold so dearly is you're such a lovely spirit and person to be around. I think he's the only person that I can literally spend all of my time with and not feel like I need a break. I mean, we have breaks, it's obviously healthy. And it's the same with music, really. I've never felt such a strong connection with someone when I'm making music. It does just feel like we're really, really locked in with each other. And I think there's only ever 2 producers that I've worked with, that producer songwriters that I've worked with, where we've just been so in sync with our ideas. And yeah, it just feels so easy and it works. It sort of feels like we read each other's minds sometimes. And yeah, it's just, I feel so grateful and so lucky to have that.
And clearly he, it sounds like he really took the time to take that away and really think about because he knew what that meant to you.
Yeah.
Really kind of work that through and come up with what he felt was, appropriate, as you say, and it has to be so appropriate to what the original song wants it to be.
Mm. Yeah, well, I mean, you'll hear it on the 3rd of May, but yeah, he smashed it.
3rd of May. The song's called Unicorn. We're just waiting for Disney to do the film now, for it to be the title theme tune, so it goes absolutely ballistic.
It wouldn't be appropriate for Disney. That's what I'm gonna say. It might not be what you expected.
I don't know. Disney have put out some pretty gritty stuff of late, so you never know, right?
Mate, it's quite a bit in it.
Okay, let's go for it then. If Unicorn could appear in any kind of TV show, which TV show would it be then?
Oh my gosh, I've never actually thought about that.
Well, it's good. It's good. Well, I'm doing it now with you so that you can get your publicity ready. And
yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not very good at all that stuff,
If you're listening, Netflix or Amazon Prime, Freddie's just about to tell you which show it should appear in, and then
is she though? Because I'm honestly not sure. Maybe something like well, it's actually very sad, but have you seen It's a Sin? Yeah, so I guess the beginning of that, when it's all good vibes, I feel like it would be a great backdrop to It's a Sin.
There you go.
Yeah,
you see, now what you've done there is you've contextualized for the listeners, straight viewers. So they're now going to be going away and thinking, oh, right, okay, I get it. Again, they will be intrigued. So they will now want to, they're starting to create visualizations of a song they've never even heard. And they're going to go and check that out. You've been marvelous. Thank you so much for coming on today. Clearly, for anyone who's missed it on the social medias, there are merchandise available.
Oh, there is.
Going back to the beginning, which are wonderful t-shirts which Freddie has designed.
I'm gonna, you know what, they're right next to me. I'm gonna grab one for you.
She's going to grab one as we speak to do a QVC channel type exploration of this. Hello everyone, and welcome to QVC Not today. And here's Freddie Joon modeling her t-shirt. Oh, look at this, it's done in glorious white. On the front there's the little Freddie Joon logo, and on the back there's the bigger Freddie Joon logo with all of those wonderful cuddly things, and a Game Boy, which is marvelous. Everybody wants one of those, including a crush can. This is available in lots of different sizes. Your house is not at risk if you buy one, unless that's the last of your money. If you would like one of these, where do you go?
Well, you can go to 2 places. There's the link in my Instagram bio, or I also now have a TikTok shop. I am one of those people. So, take your pick.
Come to the TikTok shop. Come to the TikTok shop. It's the place to buy Freddie Joon's stuff.
Or at my gig. I've got a headline show coming up.
Oh, where's that?
And they'll be there. It's at Colours in Hoxton. Do you know that venue? It used to be called Hoxton Square Bar and Kitchen. And it's just a kitchen,
which is a mouthful, so Colours is a lot better.
Yeah, I know. Colours is, and it's, yeah, they've sort of renovated it, and I saw one of my favourite artists there, and I was like, I want to play here sometime. And now I am. So yeah, that's on the 28th of May, and it's like a big celebration of the EP release. So brilliant. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Get yourselves down to Hoxton. Go and see Freddie play. She may even play Unicorn for you if you're good.
I definitely will.
and buy yourself a t-shirt, and then all hold hands together and go round on the tube together afterwards and go Freddie like that, and film it and send it back to Freddie so that she can use it as promotion. There we go. Because I enjoy things like that so much. I really do. It's been a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. It's been wonderful.
Folks, if you've enjoyed this today, then please do go and share it, press the buttons and all of that sort of thing. Subscribe, well, all of that, If you haven't enjoyed it, then well, sorry for wasting half an hour of your time. Please do get on with whatever else it was that you were doing, like doing the washing up or whatever. We will see you soon with another My Music. Until then, it's from me and from Freddie. Goodbye.
Bye, sir.
Bye.